Screen കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ? Screen കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ? Okay. Okay, so our last experiment deals with a coin tossing problem. Okay, that is basically dealing with probability. Okay, our last experiment deals with coin tossing problem. Okay. So here close one, and after that, first you initialize the number of heads. So when you toss a coin, there might be chances of occurring head or tail. Okay, so in this experiment, you are conducting, or you are going to, 1 second. Okay, so here you are tossing the coin many times. Okay, first you toss the coin some n number of times, or 5 times. Then you going to toss the coin some 10 times, then 15 times, like that. So you need to enter the number of times that you are going to toss the coin. Okay, so when you toss a coin, the probability may be for head or a tail. Okay, so we will find out what is the probability of heads, and we will find out the probability of tail. Okay, so here you can see heads and tail I've initialized to 0, because this is the count of number of heads. Okay, so the number of heads, initial value, it is 0. So we will update it. Okay, so the number of heads is 0 and number of tail is now 0. Okay, now you input enter the number of times the coin is to be tossed. Okay, there are the number of times the coin is to be tossed. So that value is, you save it under n. So what is n? N is the number of times that you are going to toss the coin. Okay, now using a loop. Okay, you can do with any loop. I have used it for loop. Okay, so for coin toss equal to 1 colon n. 1 colon n means starting value is 1 and n is the end value. Okay, starting value is n. Starting value is 1 and n is the end value. So for coin toss, I have put a variable coin toss. Coin toss varies from 1 to n. What is n? Number of times that you are going to toss the coin. Suppose n equal to 10. That means you are the coin toss variable varies from initial value will be 1, second value will be 2, 3, 4 up to 10. 1 to 10. Okay, and you're creating a for loop, and inside the for loop, if you toss a coin, it will be a head or a tail. One time if you are tossing a coin, either it will be a head or a tail. Okay, so for a head you assign a random number like a 1. Okay, and for a tail you assign a random number like 0. Okay, for head representation, you assign a number 1, and for tail representation, you assign a number 0. So I'm generating, so because you're tossing the coin randomly. Okay, so I need to generate it randomly. So I use randi function. What is the specialty of randi function? Randi is for creating the random number or integers, random integers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay, so I'm creating a random number, random integers, and 0, 1. That means it is either a 0 or it may be a 1. I'm creating it randomly. So in one single execution, I may be getting a 0. In the another execution, I may be getting a 1. Understood? So this is created randomly. A random number means either when I execute this piece of code, I may get either a 0 or a 1. Okay, and you are converting it into in order to make it compatible with the integer, because you want to compare this. Okay, you want to compare whether you are flipping of the coin is a tail or a head. If you want to compare this, you need to convert it into an integer. So please put this in 32, and after that you are storing it into a variable called flip. You are storing it into a variable called flip, and you are checking whether your flipping of the coin equal to 1. Your flip is equal to 1, because flip can be 0 or 1. isn't it? So you are checking whether your flip equal to 1. If your flip equal to 1, you display it as a head. Just for your understanding, you display it as a head. Okay, and what is the toss result? Toss result is another variable. That is the result of your toss. Okay, toss result is another variable. This is just a variable. You can have your own variables. Okay, toss result is just a variable. Toss result of coin toss. What is coin toss? Coin toss value varies from 1 to n. So first it will be coin toss varies from 1 to n. First value of coin toss will be 1, isn't it? So coin toss value will be, so toss result of coin toss. That means if you are tossing the coin for one time, toss result of 1. If you are tossing the coin for the second time, toss result of 2. If you are tossing the coin 3 times, toss result of 3. Like that. Okay, and it will be updated with your 1 or 0. Flip can be either 1 or a 0. Flip can be either a 1. 1 means head, 0 means a tail. Okay, so you are updating your toss result with the flip. So this is your toss result of coin toss equal to flip. Toss result of 1. But if you are tossing the coin 1 time, if you are tossing the coin 10 times, then toss result of 10. It will be flip. Now you need to count the number of times head has occurred. You need to count the number of times head has occurred. Okay, so head equal to head plus 1. Initial value of head is 0. Initial value, number of times. എത്ര പ്രാവശ്യം head occur ചെയ്തു? Okay, number of times head has occurred is 0. നമ്മൾ initialize ചെയ്തിരുന്നു 0 ആണെന്ന്. So head equal to head plus 1. That means this head variable will be getting updated. Okay. Now else. Else part, that means if flip equal to 0, it means a tail. So you display it as a tail, and toss result of coin toss. Okay, toss result of, if you are doing for the first time, toss result of 1. Second time, toss result of 2. Third time, toss result of 3. It will be an array. Okay, and your flip will be stored in that. Flip is, if it is a tail, it is 0. Okay, and you count how many times you have got tail. Count how many times you have got tail. So tail equal to tail plus 1. Update the count. Okay, so this is ending the if statement, and this is ending the for statement. So both the statements you have entered. Now you display toss result is. Now you display toss result is. Okay, and display this the top toss result. What is your toss result that you need to display? Okay, next is display the number of heads is. How many heads you have got? Heads. Heads is the number of heads. Now do you display number of tails? Number of tails. How many number of tails that you have got? Display tail. I hope this program is clear. I'm going to run this. So when I run this, first it will be asked, enter the number of times the coin is to be tossed. Okay, so you just enter 10 times. I want 10 times the coin to be tossed. Okay, so I just enter 10 times. So you can see here n value equal to 10, because you are tossing the coin 10 times. Okay, in the first toss you will be getting a head. In the second toss you will be getting a head. Third toss tail. Fourth toss head. Then tail, head, tail, head, tail, tail. That was the result you are getting. When you run this program for the second time, you will be getting a different result. Why? Because I am creating a random number as head or tail. Okay, because since you are running for the second time, when you are running for the second time, you will be getting a different result. Because since you are running for the second time, it will be creating another random result. Okay, so these are the result of 10 times toss. Okay, so toss result is 1 1 0 1 0 1 0. 1 indicates head, 0 indicates a tail. Okay, there will be 10 columns in the result. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, 9, and 10. There are 10 columns. One indicates head. In the first toss, you got a head. Second toss, you got a head. Third time, you got a tail, like that. Okay. And how many heads you have got here? 5 heads. You can see 5 heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have got 5 heads, and number of tail is also 5. Okay, that is the result of coin toss. I hope this is clear. Next is another program. We can see here, now I'm going to plot something. Okay, here I have already defined the number of times that I need to toss the coin. Okay, so here n value I am defining. N value I am defining it as 10, 100, 500, 1000, 5000. Then this is 10,000. This is 5 lakh, like that. Okay, I am defining this many number of times as n. First I am tossing the coin 10 times. Second time I am tossing the coin 100 times. So this n can vary. In the last program, n equal to 10 because you are tossing the coin 10 times. So in the last program, n value equal to 10, a fixed number. Now I am going to vary this n. Sorry. Now I am going to vary this n equal to 10, 100, 500, 1000, 5000, 10,000, then 5 lakh, like that. Okay, I am going to vary this value of n. Okay, now, and because my n is varying, and I am creating particular n. How many values this n has got? N has got 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 values I have got. So I put I equal to 1 to 7 because I varies from 1 to 7. It travels through this n. Okay, for I equal to 1 to 7. Excuse me. മിസ്സേ ക്ലാസ്സിലാണല്ലോ മിസ്സേ ക്ലാസ്സിലാണല്ലോ മാൻഡേറ്ററി ആ അറിയില്ല ആ ഹലോ കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? Okay. For I equal to 1 to 7, head equal to 0, tail equal to 0. So first I have initialized the value of head and tail as 0. Okay, for I equal to 7, head as 0 and tail as 0. Okay, now you display the value of n. So disp the value of n is, disp the value of n. So what is the value of n? The value of n is n of I. You are varying I. So first value of n of I, that means I is 1. First value of I is 1. So n of I will be n of 1. What is n of 1? 10. N of 1 is 10. Understood? So you are going to toss the coin 10 times. First you are going to toss the coin 10 times. Okay. So disp n of I. That means the value of n is displayed. That means you are going to toss the coin n equal to 10 times. Okay. Now for n equal to 10 times, you write the same program that I have already mentioned in the last program. Okay. For coin toss is equal to 1 colon n of I. That means you are varying the variable coin toss 1 to n of I. What is n of I? N of 1. N of 1 means 10. So coin toss varies from 1 to 10. Same program. Again, you generate a random number, random integer. It is belonging to 0 or 1. Either it can be a 0 or it can be a 1. And you're converting it into integer type, and you are saving it to the variable flip. and you're comparing a flip equal to 1. That means you are getting a head. So toss result, same variable. Toss result of coin toss equal to flip equal to head. Okay. Flip means it can be 1. 1 means head. So you update the count. Count equal to head plus 1. Initial head is 0. So head equal to head plus 1. Now you have got 1 head. So head equal to 0 plus 1. So 1. You update the count or how many times you have got the head. Okay, now else part. Else part, it is a tail. So toss result of coin toss is equal to flip. Flip equal to 0 here in the tail part. Okay, now you update the count. Tail equal to tail plus 1. Understood? Okay, so now you end the if statement. If statement end. Okay, now the for statement is also entered. Which for statement? For coin toss 1 to n. That for statement is also ended here. Okay. Now display the number of heads. So you are tossing the coin 10 times, you display the number of heads. Okay. Now you display the number of tail. This tail. Okay. Now you display the probability of head. Probability of head is number of heads that you have got divided by number of tosses. What is the probability of head? Probability of head is number of heads that you have got. When you toss the coin 10 times, you count how many heads you have got. Okay, so number of heads that you have got divided by number of tosses. What is the number of tosses? 10 tosses. So heads divided by 10 will be your probability. Display the probability of tail. Probability of tail is similar. Tail divided by number of tosses. That will be your probability of tail. Now absolute error. Okay, absolute error means how much is the variation of probability of head from the value 0.5. Okay, the value 0.5 means here when you're tossing a coin one time, you'll be the probability of what is the probability of occurrence for a head? It's 0.5. What is the probability of occurrence for a tail? It's again 0.5. So there are equal chances when you are first time tossing a coin, okay, and you have an equal probability of getting a head 0.5. Total probability will be equal to 1. Total probability equal to 1. So getting a head is a 0.5, 50%. Getting a tail is also having 50% probability. So how absolute error? Absolute error means how much variation is there for the probability of head from the value 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 minus probability of head. How much is probability of head varying from the value 0.5? And you take the absolute value, ABS value. Because you will be getting negative value sometimes. So in order to make it positive, you take the absolute value. Okay, now you display the absolute error. Display the absolute error. What is the absolute error? AB underscore error of I. This is the absolute error because you have saved it in the variable AB underscore error of I. Okay, so what is I? I is 1. So what is N here? N is 10 times you are tossing the coin. And you have chosen N of 1. What is N of 1? 10. Okay, now you repeat the whole thing for the next number of tosses. What is the next number of N? N value? N value is 100. Okay, so now you repeat the whole thing for N equal to 100. Now you again repeat the whole thing for N equal to 500. Like that. So you end the for loop. The last for loop. That means for I equal to 1 to 7 here. So this is the end of the last loop for I equal to 1 to 7. 10, 100 like that. Okay. Now you plot it. Okay. When you plot it, your x-axis will be your N. N value. What is N? 10, 100, 500 like that. What is your y-axis? Your y-axis will be your absolute error. That is stored as an array. That is stored as an array because you are creating loops. You are updating the variable inside a loop. So that is created as an array. So AB underscore error. That is your absolute error. Okay. Then line width comma 2. That is your for a plotting convenience. Okay. Now title is absolute error versus n. Your x-axis will be n. Your y-axis will be absolute error. Now x label is n. Y label is AB underscore error. I hope this program is clear. I'm going to run this. So you'll be getting different figures when you run this program. In the next time you will be getting different figure because it is generating randomly. Okay, so when you run for the next time, it will be generating some set of random numbers next time. So you will not be getting the same graph all the time that you run. Okay, you will not be getting the same graph. So here when you analyze this particular graph, the y-axis is absolute error. Okay, the x-axis is n value. And here you can see the absolute error is decreasing. Here you can see the absolute error is decreasing as you increase the value of n. The absolute error decreases as you increase. It is almost touching 0. It is almost touching 0 as you go on increasing n value. Okay, we will analyze the values. First, the value of n is 10. First, the value is 10. N is 10. That means you are tossing the coin 10 times. You got the number of heads 7 times. You got tail 3 times. What is the probability of head? Probability of head is 0.7. Probability of tail is 0.3. Now, what is the absolute error? How much probability of head is deviating from 0.5? Okay, so 0.7 is the probability of head. So 0.7 minus 0.5. What is 0.7 minus 0.5? 0.2. That is the absolute error. Okay, so initially the probability of head, when you are tossing the coin, the probability of head that you achieved is 0.7. When you are tossing the coin for 10 times. Okay, now you toss the coin for 100 times. The value of n is 100. The probability of head as here 0.42. Initially it was 0.6. Next it reduced 0.42. Probability of head is reduced. Okay, now absolute error is also getting reduced as 0.08. Okay, next time n is equal to 100. Now probability of head is 0.49. Okay, absolute error is 0.008. You can see the absolute error tends to decrease. Now the value of n is 1000 times. When you are tossing the coin 1000 times, probability of head is 0.50. See, almost equal to 50%. Almost equal to 50%. Okay, so you can see here probability of tail is 0.49 and absolute error is 0.008. Then value of n is 5000. Probability of head is 0.50. Again, it is almost equal to 50%. Absolute error is decreasing 0.0012. You can see here absolute error is again 0.0015. Like that you can see a decreasing tendency. Decreasing tendency for absolute error. Understood? So here last case, see 9 into e raised to minus 4. Very low value. That is the absolute error. Okay. So probability of head in the last toss 0.5009. It's very much close to 0.5. So as you increases the number of tosses, the probability of head will become very close to 50%. Okay. I hope this is clear. If it is clear, please pass a message in the chat box. If it is clear, please pass a message in the chat box. Others, please. Okay. Okay. So I shall continue. Okay, in the last program, here you can see you have given some random function, okay, and you want to count the how many times the random function has crossed the threshold value, and you want to find how many times the random function has got below the threshold value. Okay, so you have got some threshold, you have got some particular value, say 2. 2 is your threshold. 2 is the number you are setting for threshold value. And you want to find out how many times your function has got above 2. And how many times your function has values below 2. Understood? എത്ര പ്രാവശ്യം threshold cross ചെയ്ത് പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്, എത്ര പ്രാവശ്യം thresholdന് below പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതാണ് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാനുള്ളത്. Okay, so here you create a random integer, okay, whose maximum value is 10. And how many integers you are creating? 100 integers. So it's an array of 100. That means 1 row, 100 columns. 1 row, 100 columns. That means you are creating. And what is the maximum value of random integer? 10. 10 is the maximum value of random integer. Now you plot R. You plot this R. Okay. Now hold on. Okay, now t equal to 2. Okay, t is equal to 2. That means threshold. I'm setting my threshold as 2. Okay, so you need to plot this threshold also. Okay, okay. So if you want to plot this threshold, if you plot just t equal to 2, you will not be getting a complete graph. A complete graph കിട്ടത്തില്ല. t equal to 2 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ജസ്റ്റ് പ്ലോട്ട് ചെയ്താൽ. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാനിവിടെ ഒരു ഫോർ ലൂപ്പ് ഇട്ടിട്ട് ഒരു ത്രെഷോൾഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു വേരിയബിളിലേക്ക് ഈ ടിയുടെ വാല്യൂ അങ്ങ് കയറ്റി. ഓക്കെ, ദിസ് ടൈം യൂസ് ദ ഫോർ ലൂപ്പ്. ഓക്കെ, whose varies from 1 to 100 because നമ്മൾ 100 values ആണല്ലോ റാൻഡം നമ്പർ ജനറേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അതേ വാല്യൂ തന്നെ എടുത്തു. Okay, for I equal to 1 to 100, and I'm saving this t threshold value to another variable called threshold. Now threshold is an array. It's not a single value. This is an array of values. Okay, so threshold is now an array, and it is consisting of many values or 100 values. Okay, 100 values equal to 2. What is the value? 2 is the value. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 like that. How many times? 100 times. That is the array threshold. Just for plotting purpose. The plot ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രമാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, വേറെ ഒന്നിനും അല്ല. Okay, now we plot this threshold. Plot this threshold. Okay, now hold on. Okay, now display the number of values cross the threshold. എത്ര വാല്യൂ thresholdന് മേലെ പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്? The number of values which has become greater than 2. The number of values cross the threshold means which has become greater than 2. How many values? You find out r greater than or equal to t. What is r? Your function, random number. R is random number or function. Okay, you find out R is how many times R is greater than or equal to T. If R is greater than or equal to T, okay, then the value will be a 1. logical one. If R value is greater than or equal to T, what is T? T is threshold, 2. So if R value is greater than or equal to 2, okay, you will be getting a 1 there. Okay, now suppose 5 times you have crossed the threshold. രണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുന്ന ത്രെഷോൾഡ് വാല്യൂനേക്കാൾ 5 പ്രാവശ്യം നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ മേലെ പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ യു വിൽ ബി ഗെറ്റിംഗ് 5 വൺസ് അല്ലെ. 5 പ്രാവശ്യം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വൺസ് ഉണ്ടാവും. ആർ ഗ്രേറ്റർ ദാൻ ഓർ ഈക്വൽ ടു ടി, അവിടെ എത്ര പ്രാവശ്യം 1 ക്രിയേറ്റഡ് ആവും? 5 തവണ 1 ക്രിയേറ്റഡ് ആവും. സോ സബ്മിറ്റ്. If anyone has put on your mic, please mute it. Please mute your mic if anyone has. Okay. Now you submit. So if 5 times means if you sum 5 times, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So that will be equal to 5. That means 5 times you have crossed the threshold. Okay. Now display the number of values under threshold. Under the threshold are less than T. Submit. You'll be getting how many values are under the threshold. Okay, so I will run this. So you can see here, this is a random function. This is a random function. It is varying very randomly. Okay, you can see the orange color line. The orange color line is showing the threshold 2. What is the value of a threshold? 2 is the value of a threshold. So the orange color is showing value 2. So now you can find out how many times. So this is the function is crossing the threshold many times. The function is below the threshold very little time, very little amount of times. Okay, now you can see in the command window number of values cross the threshold. You want to find out the number of values. How many times? 91 times my random function has crossed the threshold. Number of values under threshold. How many times? 9. 9 values are under threshold. So out of my randomly generated 100 values, okay, I have randomly generated 100 values. From that, 91 values have crossed the threshold and 9 values are below the threshold. I hope this is clear. Okay, this is our last program of this particular lab.